They mocked me for being single. I brought a date, they lost their minds. I've never been what you'd call the life of the party guy. I'm quiet, introverted, kinda awkward around new people, especially women. Growing up, I was always the kid in the background while my cousins and even my little brother soaked up all the attention. Don't get me wrong, my family isn't toxic per se. They weren't throwing dishes at each other or calling me names. It was more like death by 1,000 cuts. Subtle little digs, jokes that weren't really jokes, support that came with a smirk. "You're such a good boy," my aunt would say every Thanksgiving. "Any girls at school noticed that yet?" Followed by the whole table chuckling. Every damn year. My younger brother, he's 17, once asked me in front of everyone if I was into anime girls or something, because he's never seen me talk to a real one. That one got roaring laughter from the table. I smiled, shrugged, laughed it off every time. I'm not the kind of person who claps back. I bottle. I stuff it down and pretend I'm okay because conflict makes my skin crawl. That, and there's just no winning with people who already decided who you are. So yeah, they decided I was the forever single, probably virgin weird cousin. The Awa, he's sweet guy, the butt of safe jokes. Fast forward to last month, and things got interesting. I met someone. Name, Alina. We met at my community college in a graphic design class. She's funny, smart, stunning in this quiet way. Not flashy, just naturally beautiful and kind. Think girl next door, but with a brain like a steel trap. I had no idea how to talk to her at first, but she laughed at my dumb jokes. She started sitting next to me, and one day after class, she asked if I wanted to grab boba. Reader, I almost had a stroke. Fast forward a few weeks, we're dating. Not like casual Netflix and maybe we're exclusive dating, but actual dating. I met her roommate. She brought me coffee during midterms. We took stupid selfies. It was unreal. So when my mom texted me the invite for our usual family dinner thing, I had this idea. Normally, I'd go alone, sit in the corner and count the minutes till it was socially acceptable to leave. But this time, I texted back, "Can I bring someone?" A reply was a very casual, very suspicious. "Sure." I told Alina about the dinner. She asked if my family was cool. "They're fine," I said. "They mean well." She smiled. "Then let's go." The night of the dinner, I was a freaking wreck. Sweaty palms, rehearsing how I'd introduce her, praying no one would say anything insane. I even gave her the my family's kinda weird speech in the car. But as soon as we walked in, the room just stopped. You know that moment in sitcoms where someone walks into a room and it's dead silent? That was us. Forks froze midair. My aunt blinked like she just saw a ghost. My brother said, "Wait, what?" out loud. I gave a little awkward wave and went, "Hey everyone, this is Alina." She smiled and waved, said hi, like a normal human, no big deal. But to them, you'd think I'd brought Beyoncé to Olive Garden. After that initial record scratch moment, the room gradually reanimated. People started chewing again. My uncle coughed. Someone dropped a spoon. Classic family dinner awkwardness, but cranked to 11. Mom came over first, smiling like she wasn't Loki glitching. "Well, hello there," she said to Alina, voice an octave too high. "We didn't know my name was bringing a guest." I smiled. I texted. She blinked like she didn't believe me. "Did you? Huh, I must have missed that." She didn't. Then she turned to Alina and said, "You're very put together." Not pretty, not nice. Put together. Like Alina was a bookshelf from IKEA. "Thanks," Alina said, still smiling. "It's so nice to meet you." "Oh, likewise, we just didn't expect, she waved her hands. "It's just a surprise, a good surprise." That's how it went the whole night. Not a single normal welcome, just a parade of backhanded niceties. "You have such clear skin. I never had skin like that at your age. Must be nice." "You're so tall. Are you taller than him? You might be, that's cute." "And you study design too. Ah, that's adorable, like a little team." It was a masterclass in microaggression. Meanwhile, Alina handled it like a pro. She smiled, nodded, and redirected with grace I didn't even know people our age could have. Then my brother decided to enter the chat. He slid into the seat next to Alina, all fake swagger. I knew that look, the "I'm gonna be a little sh** T face. I'd seen it since he was in diapers. "So," he said, leaning forward, "how much is he paying you?" Alina laughed, genuinely. "Nothing, but I did get boba last week, so maybe I'm in it for the perks." He grinned, like that gave him permission to keep going. "Seriously though," he said, turning to the table, "we all thought he was like celibate or something. This is wow." "Jason," my dad said from across the table, "enough." But the damage was done. Everyone laughed, including my aunt with the wine glass perpetually fused to her hand. I tried to keep cool. I didn't want to blow up, not in front of Alina, but I could feel that old feeling heat behind my ears, that tightness in the chest. The one you get when you want to scream, but you've been trained to just let it go. And Alina gently put her hand on my knee under the table. Just a little squeeze. I looked at her. She gave me this tiny nod like I got you. And just like that, I breathed again. Jason wasn't done though. So what do you see in him? He asked, full deadpan, like for real. Lena turned to him, tilted her head slightly, and said, well, he listens. He remembers what I say. He's smart, but he doesn't make it a competition. And he actually treats me like a person, which I guess might be rare in this family. Silence. My mom coughed. My aunt took a long sip of her wine. Jason blinked. Damn okay. She smiled. You asked. The rest of dinner was a blur. People kept trying to recover, like they were playing emotional dodgeball and getting smacked in the face over and over. My uncle tried to tell some lame story from back in the day to change the subject, and my cousin made a weird joke about Tinder that landed like a brick. But me, I just sat there, eating my mashed potatoes, watching the room around me crumble like a Jenga tower, and I swear I've never felt more seen in my life. Lena kept holding my hand under the table. And every time someone made another innocent comment, she just smiled that same calm smile, the kind that says, try me again, I dare you. About halfway through dinner, things got weird. After Alina handled my brother like a seasoned diplomat and dropped that might be rare in this family line, which I'm still replaying in my head daily, the whole vibe shifted. My family went from passive-aggressive disbelief to overcompensating like their lives depended on it. It was kind of hilarious to watch, honestly. Did we mention we're all super cool and interesting? Suddenly, everyone had a fun fact to share, like they were on a speed date with my girlfriend. Oh, did we tell you about our family trip to Italy? My aunt said, completely unprompted. We love culture, she added, swirling her wine like she was on Real Housewives. You know, said my cousin Rachel, I was gonna be a graphic designer too, but then I got into UX and startups and well, the rest is history. She's a barista at a co-working space. Even my uncle, who usually just yells at football games and eats ribs, decided to pitch in. Alina, do you like wine? You must come by our place sometime. We have this gorgeous Napa Valley collection. I'll open a bottle, something aged. Real nice stuff. Alina smiled politely through all of it. Honestly, I think she started enjoying herself. There's something about watching people sweat because of you that can be low-key empowering. Meanwhile, I just tried not to choke on my lasagna. Then came my dad's favorite move, the showcase. So you said you're in design, he asked Alina. I don't know if my name told you, but he used to draw a lot as a kid. He was always scribbling little cartoons. Remember those, bud? My heart sank. Oh yeah, my mom jumped in. You should have seen the one he did of our dog. The eyes were huge, like anime eyes. Everyone laughed, again. I gave a tight smile and nodded. Yeah, good times. Lena looked at me, then at them, then said, I've seen some of his work. He's actually really good, especially with texture and color theory. I told him he should start a portfolio. He has real potential. Silence, that real kind. The kind that eats a room whole. I swear my aunt scoffed. Not loud, but just enough. My mom's smile stayed frozen, like she wanted to reboot the conversation, but forgot the keyboard shortcut. Dad chuckled nervously and muttered, well, that's something. Lena just sipped her water and went, it is. I might have fallen in love with her all over again right there. The after-dinner talk. Dinner wrapped up not long after that. Dessert was served, supermarket pie, half frozen, people cleared plates. The mood had settled into this weird mix of forced normalcy and unspoken judgment. Lena excused herself to go to the bathroom, and just as I was grabbing her jacket from the back of a chair, I felt a hand on my arm. Sweetie, my mom said too softly, can we talk just for a minute? She led me into the hallway. You know that one dim corner between the kitchen and the garage? That's the spot. The official location of parental conversations you don't want to have TM. She looked at me with this concerned mom expression, the one she used when I told her I wanted to be an artist and not an accountant. She's very nice, she said. I nodded. Yeah, she is. It's just unexpected. Why? She looked away for a second, then back. You've never brought anyone home before. Well, now I did. She sighed. I just want to make sure you're thinking clearly. You know that she's not using you. Some girls see a quiet boy and think he's easy to. To what? To impress, to wrap around their finger. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. Alina's not like that. I hope not, she said, with the fakest smile I've ever seen, because I'd hate to see you hurt. And she hugged me, tight, the kind of hug that felt more like a trap than affection. Just be careful, sweetheart, she whispered. I didn't say anything, just nodded and went to grab Alina. We left soon after. No big scene, just handshakes and we should do this again lies. But on the drive home, Alina looked at me and said, that was intense. Yeah, I muttered, that's my family. She took my hand. You okay? I think I am, I said, more than I expected to be. The drive home was quiet. Not the awkward kind of quiet, more like the kind where the silence says everything, and neither of us wanted to break it just yet. City lights slid across the windshield, soft and golden. The kind that makes everything look a little more cinematic than it really is. Lena sat with her legs tucked under her, watching the world roll by, one elbow resting on the window frame. Her hand was still in mine, fingers loosely laced, thumb moving in small circles across my knuckles. Absent-minded but intentional. I kept replaying the night in my head. Every weird comment, every sideways glance, every passive-aggressive compliment. And through all of it, her hand never left mine. When we got to my apartment, I asked, "Want to come up, just for a bit?" She nodded. No tension, no question in the air, just a shared moment that hadn't run its course yet. We climbed the 2 flights of stairs, shoes echoing in the quiet hallway. My place smelled like laundry and books and the cinnamon candle I forgot I left burning. She stepped in, kicked off her shoes, and immediately curled up on the couch like she'd always belonged there. I sat beside her. No TV, no music, just the hum of the fridge and the soft thud of the rain that had started somewhere between dinner and now. "You did good," she said softly. I looked at her. "At what?" "Not folding," she said. "You were quiet, yeah, but you weren't small." I laughed, short and embarrassed. I felt small. She turned toward me, one leg crossed under her, facing me fully now. "That's the thing, you felt it, but you stayed. You didn't leave. You didn't disappear into yourself. That takes strength." No one had ever said that to me before. Not like that. Not as if it were a fact and not a compliment. "I'm just used to it," I said. "The comments, the vibe, I guess I've learned to wear it like a coat or something." She reached up and brushed a strand of hair away from my forehead. "You don't have to wear it with me." I blinked. "I mean it," she added. "You don't have to be funny or agreeable or unproblematic. You don't have to perform. I didn't sign up for some polished version of you. I like the one who stumbles through his sentences and overthinks everything and accidentally calls me dude when he gets nervous." I laughed. "I do that." She nodded, grinning. "At least twice today." I shook my head. "God, I'm so awkward." "And I love that about you," she said. I froze. It wasn't a grand declaration, not a rom-com swell of the music moment. It was casual, honest, said like she was just telling the truth, the same way someone might say, "Your tea's getting cold." I didn't say it back, not because I didn't want to, but because in that moment, all I could do was feel it, deeply, fully. So instead, I leaned into her. Not to kiss her, just to rest my head on her shoulder, and she let me. We stayed like that for a while, no pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people, wrapped in soft light and quiet thoughts, existing together without noise. I didn't know where we were going yet, but for the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid of the answer. She was still holding me when I felt her shift a little. Not to move away, more like she was adjusting something in her chest, mentally clicking through files she hadn't opened in a while. Her fingers slowed on my arm, stopped, then pressed down just slightly. "I don't talk about this much," she said. Her voice was soft, but there was something different about it now, a kind of tightness just beneath the calm. I sat up slowly so I could see her face. "You don't have to," I said, automatic. "I know," she whispered, "but I want to." She looked down at her lap, like the words she needed might be hiding between the folds of her sweater. "My family's kind of a performance too," she said. "Not like yours, or maybe exactly like yours, I don't know." She glanced at me, half smiling, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "We're one of those perfect on Instagram, falling apart in real life types," she continued. "My mom's into crystals and vision boards and manifesting positivity, which basically means ignore the bad stuff and pretend we're thriving." I stayed quiet, just listened. My dad left when I was 10, and the day after she posted a photo of us with matching flower crowns and wrote, "Just us girls, vibing higher." She let out a single laugh, the bitter kind. I remember staring at that post, wondering who she was talking to. Just us girls. We'd both cried ourselves sick the night before, but you'd never know that by looking at her feed. She picked at the corner of her sleeve. "I learned early that in our house, reality didn't matter as much as optics. You don't get to be angry or hurt. You just smile and move on, you vibe higher." She looked at me again. "I think that's why I like you so much." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "You don't fake it, even when you're uncomfortable. You don't try to sell a version of yourself. You just are." I felt heat rise in my face. That's not usually seen as a good thing. It is to me. We sat like that for a moment, her eyes on mine, like she was studying something she wasn't sure she was allowed to look at too long. Then she added, almost shyly, "You make me feel like I can exist without curating myself." That hit me harder than anything anyone said to me in years. I didn't know what to say to that, so I didn't try to fill the silence. I just reached for her hand, and she let me take it. Her thumb moved against mine again, but slower this time, calmer. "Sometimes I'm scared you'll see the broken bits and change your mind," she said. "I see them," I said, "and I still like you." Her eyes watered. She didn't cry, not exactly, but she leaned into me again, and her breathing changed just a little, like she finally let go of something she'd been holding too tight for too long. And there we were again, two quiet people, not fixing each other, not solving the past, just being still. And somehow, that was enough. I woke up earlier than usual. Not because of an alarm or noise, just that strange internal clock that sometimes goes off when your mind is still buzzing, even if your body's tired. The room was wrapped in that soft, bluish-gray glow of early morning, the kind that makes everything look calm, like the world hasn't fully made up its mind to wake yet. No traffic sounds, just the hum of my fridge and the occasional creak of the building settling into itself. Lena was still asleep on the couch. She kicked the blanket halfway off sometime during the night, and her hand was tucked under her cheek. Her breathing was steady, lips slightly parted. One stray curl had fallen across her forehead. She looked peaceful, completely unguarded. I watched her for a second, not in a creepy way, just in that way where you try to memorize something soft because you don't get to see it often. I got up slowly, careful not to make noise, and made my way to the kitchen. My kettle was old and a little loud, but it had character, like everything else in my apartment. I grabbed two mismatched mugs. One had a crack down the side and the other said "One Dad," which I got from a thrift store as a joke because it was 50 cents. I made tea. Coffee would have been too much, too loud. Tea felt quieter. By the time I turned back around, Alina was awake. She was still lying down, one arm flopped over her eyes, voice a little raspy from sleep. "Do I smell chamomile?" I smiled, guilty. She sat up slowly, blanket wrapped around her shoulders like a cloak. Her hair was a mess, and she looked perfect. "You didn't have to," she said. "I know," I replied, handing her the mug. "I wanted to." We sat on the couch in silence for a bit, sipping warm tea, legs barely touching. The kind of silence that doesn't feel like something to fill, just something to be in. "I like this quiet," she said finally. I nodded. "Me too." She leaned her head on my shoulder again, and we just sat there. No phone scrolling, no planning the day, no analysis of last night. Just being. Existing. I didn't know where things would go from here. I didn't need to. For the first time in forever, I wasn't trying to prove anything. Not to my family, not to her, not even to myself. And somehow, in all the stillness, I felt more alive than I had in years.